Hello students, it's time for English. In our last class, I taught you the expression have to. Have to helps us express obligation. We're learning about jobs, and in different jobs, we have different obligations. In last class, you had to copy this grammar table. And here, you wrote questions with have to. I want you to remember two things, and then you're going to do some activities to practice. The first thing to remember is this vocabulary says different activities that people have to do for different jobs. For example, wear a uniform or wear a helmet. Remember, a helmet is something you put on your head to protect yourself. Go to university. Work very hard. Work at night. Like animals. So remember, in some jobs, you have to like animals. If you're a vet, you have to like animals. That's important. But if you're a driver, you don't have to like animals. You can, but it's not necessary, right? We learned this in our last class, and we learned how to make questions. I want you to remember how to make questions. First, we have the word do or does. This tells us it's a question. Second, we have a subject, like I, you, he, she, it, we, or they. Third, we have to for obligation. And last, we have the activity that describes what you have to do. Remember that in English, we say do if the subject is I, you, we, or they. But we say does if the subject is he, she, or it. So, for example, we say, do I have to wear a uniform? Do you have to wear a uniform? Do we have to wear a uniform? Do they have to wear a uniform? But does he have to wear a uniform? Does she have to wear a uniform? If you remember this, you're ready. Let's practice. Today, you have to do a worksheet with some different questions. Activity number 1, you have to complete a grammar table. It's the same as the other one, but now it's your turn. Question 1, do blah 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 have to wear a uniform? So you have to look and put the correct word. Do, do he? No, do he is not correct. Do they? Yes. Do they have to wear a uniform? That's good. Do they have to wear a uniform? Yes, that's a good question. Number 2, blah, 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 you have to work, blah, blah, blah. Well, if the subject is you, do we say does you? No, that's not correct. Do you? Yes, that's correct. So do you have to work here? Do you have to work, go to university? No. Do you have to work very hard? Yes. That is a good question in English. Do you have to work very hard? Yes, you do. So here are two questions that are finished. Number 3 and number 4, you can do it all by yourself. Let's look at activity 2. Again, you have to write questions, and then you have to think about them and answer, yes, they do, or no, they don't. Every job is different. So question number 1, blah, 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 nurses, blah, 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 work at night. And then you answer, yes, they do, or no, they don't. Well, nurses is plural, so it's they. Do nurses or does nurses? The correct answer is do. Do nurses. The second part, you have to write have to. And here, it's always the same. Have to, have to, have to, have to, have to. Do nurses have to work at night? Well, it depends. Sometimes yes and sometimes no. So sometimes it's true. So I will say yes, they do. Yes, they do. Oops, sorry, I wrote it incorrectly. Yes, they do. Let's do one more example. Hairdressers wear a helmet. Do hairdressers have to wear a helmet? Well, I think no, they don't. So you write this in your notebook. You can do it.